So I guess my passion started in high school. It started during my lunch breaks. My school gave me a lot of authority to figure out what I wanted to eat outside of the institution. And so in the Chelsea neighborhood of New York City, there was so much going on. There was Asian, there was Chinese, there was Indian. And the hour before lunch break actually started, me and my friends were trying to figure out, okay, what do we have today? And in a school with about 200 students and coming from 18 nations, you learn a lot just from eating food. And so going to these establishments, I learned, okay, what's more valuable here? And I think it was consumer experience, because what I was experiencing was more of a memory that I can't, change out. It was just tough because at the time I'm like, okay, well, coming from the Bronx into New York City, why can't I experience that at home? I don't want to have to travel this far. But it was so engaging. I think for me, what really stood out the most was in my 20s. I went to a restaurant called Selena's. It was on West 19th and 9th. And that was probably the moment that I realized, okay, consumer experiences for me. This restaurant in particular, flown in their roses from Ecuador every week. And you wouldn't get that elsewhere. It was great. And so I decided from now on, I want to promote this experience to every person that I meet. And I want them to have the same experience that I had growing up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's always been about the product, obviously. But to pick up back off of what you said, your experience growing up in New York City, why does anybody move to New York City? The weather's crappy, the people are rude, everything is so expensive. But you move here because you're extremely ambitious and you want to accomplish something big. One of my favorite shows is Mad Men, and there's this scene from Bobby Darin, and she's like, this is America. You pick a job, you become the person who does it. And for me, I've always been very interested in just being creative and understanding why people do what they do, human behavior, and also just the wine and spirits industry. So I thought that was the perfect fit, doing marketing right within that industry. I thought I could do just big things there. I was reading this article in the New York Times, and they were just talking about black bourbon drinkers and how we are completely annoyed within that market. They don't ever really come after us. And I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity. And how often is it that, you have a passion and there's a huge market need for that passion? It's just a very lucky thing. And luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And I was like, oh wow, this is a huge stroke of luck. I can start this company and I can really go after that market opportunity there. I remember the first time I had scotch. I was, it was the 21st birthday party. I was up in college. And I wanted to buy my friend a couple of shots. So I go up to the bar, I look behind there to see kind of what to grab him. And I wanted to do something interesting. So I saw a bottle of Johnny Walker Red. And I was like, hey, let me just try that out. So I buy the shots, I bring it over to him. We throw back the shots, and he almost gags. It's so terrible. A lot of people are Scotch fans, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. And you look at their marketing though, and you would never think that somebody who looks like me, who comes from Harlem, is one of their clients, but we are. And even if you look at the demographics, right? 15% of the population is African American, but we only represent about 9% of whiskey drinkers. And that gives you a 6%, delta there that's an uncontested market space. Nobody's going after that. And if you look at, the wine and spirits industry today, that's really the only space that there's growth in. So me being from that community, I felt like I could help these companies grow within there, because it's really treacherous territory. If you look at a company like H&M, right? They went about things the wrong way, and it's very easy for you to get canceled on Twitter. So me being from that community, I understand that we want to be engaged with. We don't want to be exploited. And I want to help companies know and understand that, so that they can navigate these waters cleanly and really, build a very positive relationship in the community, and we can all enjoy these products instead of being excluded from them.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, looking back now, it's like, why did I have to ever leave my borough to enjoy something so exquisite? And I know it was just in my lunch break that I was able to experience this at the time, but it's, but going back home, it's like, well, I wanted to take those experiences with me and have them at all times. But why? But the Bronx is not a lost borough. It's on the map. It should be focused on, it should be engaged with. And yeah, I mean, I just don't understand why it's not happening. But I'm glad we were able to meet here in Harlem Wine Room. Interestingly enough, I just came to really just fix up and revamp their place. And so I did a really good job, but in that process of trying to enhance like the wine drinkers experience, I met Spencer here. And Spencer was starting, Black Owl Agency, and he talked about his experiences that are actually, really relative to mine. And from now on, I really want to, go to these distributors and say, hey, like, what about us? Why aren't we included? And let's start that conversation. So from now on, we are no longer exploited, but enjoying a product just like anyone else would be. So I'm glad we were able to, meet. Cheers.
Sounds good.